This is Marjorie Wixom, and I'm doing my persuasive speech on restoring Iowa's tallgrass prairies. Did you know that less than 200 years ago, the entire state of Iowa was completely covered in tallgrass prairies? Now, according to the Iowa Tallgrass Prairie Institute in Cedar Falls, there's less than 1% remaining. And prairies are a vital part of Iowa's ecosystem and heritage, and it's vital that we do something to get them back. So I've been helping restore prairies in one of Iowa's state parks, and I'm going to talk to you about what happened to them, how we can restore them, and what you can do to help. So about 178 years ago, when the first settlers came to Iowa, they noticed all the vast tallgrass prairies, and all they could see was fertile land going to waste. So they took a plow to it and replaced the prairies with crops and replaced the American bison with cattle. And the prairies are a vast myriad of plants that are only found there. Like the lady slipper. It's a really neat plant that you can't find anywhere else but in prairies. And the blazing star, it's a plant that's loved by butterflies. So this is what the state of Iowa looked like before settlers came, or what they think it looked like. And along all the rivers, there was lots of trees, but everywhere else there's prairies. And now if you look at the state of Iowa, there's even few trees along the rivers, and everywhere else it's pretty much urbanized. You can't see any prairies anymore. And with the vanishing plant communities, we lost a lot of our wildlife. So it's really important that we do something to get it all back. There's no way to really get back the American bison, but by restoring the prairies, we might be able to get the prairie chicken back and get some of our other native wildlife back, like the bluebird and wolves and some of the insects that rely on those plants. So I don't know about you, but if I can do something to help restore something that's lost, I do everything in my power to try. So one thing you can do is help support the Tallgrass Prairie Center in Cedar Falls, Iowa. And they're looking for volunteers to collect prairie seed from ruminant prairies. And you can find ruminant prairies along old railroad right-of-ways. So if you walk an old railroad track, you might be able to find a prairie, but a lot of those are disappearing too because farmers are just starting to plant crops in those areas instead of viewing the railroad right-of-ways anymore. So, and Tom Rosberg, he says, on a ruminant, you never know what you might find. There's always a chance for a grand discovery. On a restoration, you only find what is in a seed mix. So he's saying that ruminants are 100 times better than restored prairies, but even at that, restored prairies are better than nothing at all. So when you send your seed in to the Prairie Center, they plant that seed and they grow it, and then they send out the seed that they've grown to natural selections, and natural selections then disperses the seed throughout Iowa, and they give it back to the Tallgrass Prairie, and the Tallgrass Prairie donates it to the Iowa Roadside Vegetation Management Program, and they're the people that plant seeds along roadways and in places that you see now. And that's one way that the state of Iowa is trying to restore prairies. So by spending an hour or two of your time, you can help these programs disperse seed. By collecting a 1/4 cup of prairie seed, it'll be about an acre, and then in a few years, those seeds that you collect will affect the whole state of Iowa in ways you wouldn't even believe. So if a handful of Iowans volunteer their time and effort, you could be surprised at how much how drastic the change can be. So, and our state is already paying landowners to plant prairie seed and leave it untouched, just to see what happens to those prairies, and as a way of prairie restoration. So, and all the seed that's used by those farmers or the landowners that plant the seed is from natural selections, and natural selections get their seed from the Tallgrass Prairie Center, and the Tallgrass Prairie Center gets their seed from volunteers who go out and collect the seed from remnants. So, and not only that, but the roadside management program also gets their seed from the Tallgrass Prairie Center, and over 99 counties in Iowa are using that program, and since they get their seed from the Tallgrass Prairie Center, they're actually getting their seed from the volunteers who collect it. So that's one way that you can do something to actually help. So in conclusion, the state of Iowa's native prairies have been a vanishing part of our ecosystem. By restoring some of those prairies, it will impact our state and future Iowans for years to come. I hope you see the need for restoring Iowa's prairies, because they're a vital part of our heritage and our ecosystem. Without them, we'll lose a lot more than just the bison. So you need to do your part to help restore those prairies. Even if you can only plant a small garden in your backyard, it's better than doing nothing at all, because that small garden will help support a few insects or birds. In John Madsen's book, Tallgrass Prairie, he says, "I often think of great-granddad's quarter section of old Iowa. He saw prairie as something to be broken for his children. I see it as something to be saved for mine." Thank you.